Hey, this is Clayton, and in this video, I'm going to talk about how to help a man experience more freedom and feel more freedom while he's with you in a committed relationship than he could possibly being single, running around, dating, and playing the field. Now, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do. There's a subscribe button right below this video. Also, if you like this video as you're listening to it, stick around to the very end because I've got something that is another free video that you may find particularly fascinating and useful if you're in a relationship. Now, this idea of freedom, how to help a man feel more free in a relationship, why is that important? Well, there's a lot of literature out there that states that men, the masculine, want to experience freedom in life, and that freedom is a very deep value of men. And there's also a lot of popular thought that in order to get a man to commit, somehow he's got to give up or sacrifice this freedom to be in the relationship. There's terms like commitment phobe. He's a commitment phobe. Or men even referring to women as the old ball and chain. Or that when a guy gets married, he's got to give up his player card. Which all paint this picture that the man is giving up the sense of freedom that is so deep to him being a man, and that there's a compromise that he's got to be, that he's got to participate in order to be in a relationship. Well, if you are a woman and you believe this, then it sets up a pretty not a good dynamic because you feel like you're taking something away from him and that he's compromising and that you're somehow twisting his arm to get in the relationship. But what if there was a way that you could help him experience more freedom in the relationship with you? Well, there is. And in order to illustrate this, I'm going to give you a little background of how this idea came to light. I was on a coaching call with a client recently. And it was a woman who had been in a relationship with a guy for several months. And the guy had just recently broke up with her. And when we got to the core of what was actually happening in the relationship, we uncovered that she was using a strategy from childhood to try to manage the relationship. She was being a people pleaser. She was being very agreeable. She was trying to create harmony. She was avoiding confrontation. She was trying to give him what he wanted. And they finally broke up. And one of the complaints that he expressed to her is he said, I feel like I've got to consistently walk around on eggshells with you and that I can't be myself. What's ironic is that that was one of her complaints about the relationship as well, is that she felt like she couldn't be herself and that she had to walk around on eggshells. Now, as a result, within this dynamic, there's a very narrow scope of how both people can show up. Right? The guy feels like he's got to walk around on eggshells. He can't be completely himself. She feels the exact same way. So there is this constriction or this loss of freedom in the relationship. And it was due to her trying to please him in the relationship, which seems kind of counterintuitive. Now, when we look at this more critically and we think, okay, well, if he was feeling a loss of freedom while he was with her, what could she have done? How could she have been in the relationship that would actually allow him to experience more of himself, more of who he is in the relationship and feel the exact opposite of like he's walking on a tightrope or walking on eggshells? Well, in order to have this concept land and make sense, let's look at men for a moment and how men are typically brought up in many cultures all over the world. Men as children are taught that they should experience only a very small spectrum of emotion, that men need to man up, that men need to be driven and they need to be the providers, and that to cry or to let someone see weakness is not in line with being a man. So men learn from a very young age to actually disown a part of themselves, a part of their emotional experience in order to be in line with this idea of being a man. And so they go through life with these blinders that are created. Now, that's not every man. Some men go out and read literature or do some work on themselves and learn to recapture this emotional experience. But I'm talking about the majority of men, a lot of men that I've run into, a lot of men that I work with. And what men are yearning for and what they can get and what they finally get permission to have in a relationship with a woman, if the woman is truly there and gets this, is The woman acts as an emotional gatekeeper. She is the access point to a very rich and vibrant world of emotions that the man actually gets to re-experience and starts to give himself permission to experience emotions while he's in the relationship with her that he otherwise may have not experienced since he was a little boy. So can you see that if a woman is showing up in a way where she's giving the guy permission to experience this emotional world, then he is able to actually experience more parts of himself. He's able to experience more parts of his heart, more parts of life's experiences. Now, how does a woman do that? How does a woman actually give a man the permission and the territory for this level of freedom to occur within him in the relationship where he can experience more parts of himself? Well, she does that by actually being the opposite of a people pleaser. She does that by bringing her emotions to the table and allowing the guy to experience her honest self. It happens through that honest transmission of her emotions. It happens through her having the courage to bring her emotions to him for him to see, and then for him to feel like he can then follow suit and bring his emotional experience and his honest self to the relationship as well. And that doesn't always mean love. That doesn't always mean the warm, fuzzy feelings of emotions. It means anger sometimes. It means frustration. It means sadness. It means the entire world of emotions, the honest emotions that she is experiencing, she is bringing, and therefore he now feels that he can too. See, if the woman does not bring, if you don't bring your emotions to the table, the communication that you are subtly giving him is that you don't trust that he is strong enough to actually handle you. And if he doesn't feel like you are trusting him that he can handle you, he doesn't feel like he's really getting all of you. And then he doesn't feel like he can really bring all of himself to you either. And that's how it creates this very thin tightrope of what a relationship is, which creates restriction, which ultimately sends him packing and wanting to leave because he is not getting to experience more life in the relationship. In fact, he's experiencing less life in the relationship with you. So you might be thinking, well, Clayton, I do bring my emotions to the table. I bring my emotions all the time to him, and he just shuts down, or he says that I'm nagging. Well, my response to that would be, maybe you're not actually bringing just purely your emotions to the table, but you may be bringing accusations married to that emotion as well, which is what he's really responding to. And how you know if you're doing that is when you express your emotions, is it coming across like, when you did this, you made me feel, or you make me feel like this, you make me feel X. And the statement comes from this place of, rather than owning your emotional experience, you are telling him that he is responsible for your emotional experience, which puts a weight on him. And rather than being able to receive you, or rather than there being any space for him to express his emotions and his perspective and be honest and fully open to you, he feels like he's got to defend against you. And rather than do that, he'd just simply walk away or shut down. Now, this video is already about 8 minutes long, so I'm not going to go into exactly how to do that. But if you would like to know step by step what that communication would look like, how you can bring your emotional experience, your honest communication to him to create a deeper connection and more permission for him to be honest with you so the two of you can actually work through struggles rather than sweep them under the rug, click on the link below, enter email address, and I've got another video that I made that breaks down that process step by step. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, please like it. If you've got a different perspective, I'm very open to that, so please comment below, and again, subscribe to the channel. Thanks.